Good morning, and glad to have you here on our last press conference of February. It's February 22nd, but we certainly hopefully are looking to get past the cold weather. This weekend was nice with some sun. We had people. Our parks were well utilized in the city of Pensacola. We're excited about that, and we hope that the past and some of this cold and bad weather is going to be behind us. But again, if hopefully you're able to hear me right now. We've had a little technical difficulty between our stuff and Casey's. So if you can't, please text in, and Casey's giving me a thumbs up. So hopefully we got everything out good, and you're up and running and can hear us. If you have any problems, just text her in and let us know. We were having some technical difficulties this morning getting started. Wanted to let you know that we are coming up on our next mayor's cleanup. This Saturday will be the February 27th cleanup in East Pensacola Heights area. Visit cityofpensacola.com to view the cleanup map and see if you are in the cleanup area. The event allows City of Pensacola sanitation customers in a cleanup area to leave eligible items at the curb for pickup. City of Pensacola sanitation services will pick those items up free of charge. For more information on exactly the items, please visit cityofpensacola.com. Community centers, and I apologize if we are closed in programming. However, we are not closed in centers. We have some things going on in our centers. I wanted to clarify that our centers remain open, but they're operating at reduced capacity. We are not having programming at the centers, but we do expect that to be coming back March 12th as we head into the spring break. We will be having programs that will be available for our citizens and our youth. Our community centers have been very active during COVID, running limited programs where possible. Programs include giving out senior and youth meals via drive-through and hosting other after-school programs. Again, our community centers are not closed, but they are. Their programming is mostly suspended, and they are operating at a very limited capacity of 25%. But if I gave the wrong information, our staff was trying to correct me. I did want to say we are opening and having some activities. They're at 25%, and so we are still utilizing. Again, all that will change on the 12th of March in less than 2 weeks, or a little over 2 weeks. Excuse me. We will be opening everything back up, and we're excited about getting that back open. City stormwater improvement project. We're through the completion of 3 stormwater improvement projects by the City of Pensacola. An estimated 15.3 tons of pollutant solids will be removed annually and prevented from discharging into Bayou Tahar, enhancing water quality for the bayou and the connected waterways. Our Public Works and Facilities Department has recently completed 3 projects as a part of the city's ongoing efforts to improve local water quality. These projects provide treatment for stormwater basins, which previously discharged into Bayou Tahar with no treatment. All of the stormwater treatment units installed, they collect runoff and trap sediment, trash, oils, grease, and other pollutants inside, and allow cleaner water to be discharged into our bayou in Pensacola Bay. So we're very excited about getting those additional projects clean, and I think next time we can give you an update. I think we're almost complete, but we'll have Derek with Casey provide us an update as to where we are, what percentage of the way I think we're getting close to being finally completed on most all that we've got with Bayou Tahar. So very excited. Also very excited about what we're seeing happen at the airport. American Airlines is adding a nonstop flight from New York to Pensacola International Airport. They announced last week they will begin daily service nonstop from Pensacola to LaGuardia. The Texas-based carrier says the service is scheduled to begin in June and run through September. LaGuardia Airport is, of course, is located inside the city of New York in the Queensboro, and it's the 3rd busiest airport in New York. American Airlines daily flight departs LaGuardia at noon Eastern and arrives in Pensacola at 1:45. And the flight departing Pensacola will arrive in New York at 6 o'clock Eastern. So, again, it is great to have additional connections. We are continuing to see more and more connections that we've got going through. We realize at this point Things are slowly coming back at our airport, but we're excited to see what's going on. And I think what we've seen during COVID, I think the airlines are seeing what can happen here in Pensacola, and they're expanding service here. So we're very excited about where we go. The City Council will be meeting this week. We'll have agenda conference today, and we will also be having our regular meeting on Thursday. Members of the public will not be able to attend City Council meetings at this time, but you are able to attend via live stream or phone. City Council meetings can be viewed at cityofpensacola.com/video, and you're welcome to watch there and participate. Please look also on our website for if you have a question about wanting to speak. There are plenty of ways for the council to hear your comments, and we want to hear the public. There's plenty of opportunities for you to see and participate. We're just still working through COVID and still asking for your patience to work through that. Fdot announces the reopening of Pensacola Bay Bridge, which was exciting last week. They were over here. The Secretary Tebow was in town, or Milton, to announce the two lanes of traffic will be opened in March of 2021. This sort of reiterates FDOT's commitment to get us reconnected. The first phase will open 2 lanes of traffic for the first 4,000 feet on the Pensacola side. The remaining 2 miles of bridge will be open to 4 lanes of traffic, 2 in each direction. The second phase will consist of an opening of 4,000 feet to 4-lane traffic that will be completed by Memorial Day. So by Memorial Day, we will get back to full 4 lanes of traffic between Gulf Breeze and Pensacola, and we're incredibly excited about that. So if you need to learn more, go to fdot.gov/Pensacola Bay. You can see all the information there. That's fdot.gov/Pensacola Bay. They will have everything there that is happening related to the bridge. We're just excited to get that connection back open and what's happening. Then Fdot also has the Cervantes Street project, which will be beginning. Florida Department of Transportation will begin the $7 million construction project this month to improve pedestrian safety along a 2.2 mile stretch of West Cervantes Street from Dominguez Street to A Street. Planned improvements along West Cervantes include constructing 7 lighted mid-block crosswalks, ADA compliant ramps, a wider multi-use path, new traffic signals that will be added on 4 intersections, and existing signals will be enhanced with upgrade pedestrian features. The work is estimated for completion in early 2022. Funding for this project is collaborative between the City of Pensacola, Escambia County, and the Florida Department of Transportation. You can learn more at facebook.com/Cervantes Street. We're very happy to be participating in that. It's not everything we exactly wanted the way it was, but as I continue to say, we believe that the traffic signals and the number of traffic signals increasing on Cervantes will reduce speed, will enhance pedestrian, and will make it much more walkable community. So we're very excited about that. I think it will also give the opportunity for us to get some of that neighborhood commercial in the Brownsville area and the West Cervantes area that we would love to see come back and help continue to build that neighborhood. So we do think this will have some solutions. It wasn't perfect, everything we wanted, but at the end of the day, we do believe it's going to get us in the right direction. COVID, for this standpoint, the good news is states showing our positivity rates are down now under 7%. We were at 5.21% on February 20th, which goes from 5.67, 2.89, 5.2. So we're at 5.21. So being at 5% is very good. Anything under 7, under 6 is really getting us back into where we need to be. Our COVID hospitalizations are continuing to trend down. Yesterday they were at 104. This follows again, they've kind of hovered in that area, 107, 108, 107, 113, and now 104. So we're hoping to get soon to double digits. And if we get those things, we'll begin to look at what we can do, mask ordinance and other measures to relieve those. But again, we've got to be continuing to watch what's going on. If things come down, we're going to be looking for ways we can work with citizens, be less restrictive. If things go up, we've got to get back to our good habits and continuing to do that. So we're continuing to work through it. We'll stay on top of everything that's going on with COVID. The most important part continues to be the vaccines. Due to inclement weather, last week's COVID-19 shipment was delayed, impacting Florida's Department of Health. The Florida Department of Health in Escambia County expects to receive its allocation of 2,500 doses, so 2,500 doses of Moderna vaccine this week. They are coordinating with community partners for a distribution effort. FDOH, Escambia, and partner organizations are in the process of rescheduling vaccine appointments that were for the week of this week. Please do not contact providers directly for these appointments. They will be working to get you upon arrival of the vaccine shipment in partnership with Ascension, Sacred Heart, Baptist Healthcare, Community Health Northwest Florida, West Florida Hospital, and Woodlands Medical Specialists. FDOH and Escambia will distribute vaccine in Escambia County, and it will be distributed accordingly. Sacred Heart will have 400, Baptist will have 400, Community Health will have 800, DOH Escambia 500, West Florida 200, and Woodland Medical Specialist 200. For more information, you can visit escambiahealth.com, and we encourage you to do so. We also got last week, we got some good news. Certainly those of you who are anglers and enjoy angling art. We were very happy that the City of Pensacola was recognized, or Pensacola area was recognized by Guy Harvey, who's internationally renowned for that. He is going to be excited to do a Pensacola Lighthouse. Is going to be featured on a new Guy Harvey t-shirt with part of the proceeds benefiting Ocean Conservancy. T-shirts can be purchased at guyharvey.com, and we have sort of a little sample so you can kind of see it, but it has the lighthouse with several of the fish that you can catch right offshore from the lighthouse in the Gulf right there. So we're very excited to have that recognition and very much appreciate the artist looking to be here. Again, tomorrow we hope to see some of you live and the members of the press. We'll have Tony Ortiz here, president of Florida League of Cities. He will be in town and from Orlando. It's exciting to have. It's been a number of years since they visited Pensacola. They certainly get out there, try to get the president out to a number of cities they think are important in the state of Florida. And it's great to have the city of Pensacola seen again and viewed across the state as an important city that you need to come to. So I appreciate your willingness to participate tomorrow in that, and glad to have Tony here and get a chance to answer any of your questions. He'll be happy to talk about issues dealing with preemption, I'm sure, and a variety of other things that we are facing in the legislative session. We certainly champion home rule at the League of Cities, and we'll continue to look to make all of Florida's 400 cities a better place. So we appreciate that. Lastly, and I know we continue to work forward on the Cpac. Last week, I asked a couple of questions that I think there's no doubt we've tried to allow them to discuss as many things and bring forward their own ideas, and some things they've done have come forward and presented some ideas and some things we can do and absolutely make changes. Some things have centered on stuff that we really are going to be outside of our capacity to do. But I think the most important issue was the question that I tried to ask last week is what does it require to build trust? And I continue to know that there's a lot of things that just seem to be one-sided to the police, but I believe all of us, and I certainly hope is the Cpac comes into their next meeting next week, begin to look at again what all of us can do, what can communities and citizens do as well, because trust is a two-way street. As we move forward and we talk about that, I want to continue to focus on some things that I think that are important at this time in our country, at this time in our state, and at this time in Northwest Florida. That we continue just to keep a focus on what we can do to build trust within our community. If we can build trust, we can have a great community. If we build common things that we all agree on and we can work toward, those are things that will make our community better. There's no doubt there are challenges right now in our whole country, but I do think much of this, while it is centered somewhat at the police level, it's not isolated to simply police. We could all do a better job in our community. We could all be thinking about how do we create those opportunities. Trust doesn't mean we're always going to agree. It just simply means we believe we can work with each other, and even through disagreement, we can get through those things. So Again, much of what we're going to continue to focus on at the City of Pensacola is how do we do that? How do we build trust and continue to work through those things? So that's where we are. I'm happy to answer your questions. I hope you can get them in, and Casey's got them. Do you have them, Casey?
Yes.
Okay. I knew you were having technical problems earlier.
I was having some technical issues. And on this first question, there's always an echo for me for some reason. Before I get to the questions, though, I did just want to clarify one more thing about the community centers. I think you mentioned something about them not doing programming. They are doing programming as well. Everything is just at a limited capacity due to COVID. So community centers are open. They're doing programming. The only center that is closed right now is Sanders Beach, and they plan to reopen March 12th. So just wanted to make that note. The first question is from Dave at WWF. There's concern about the disparity between whites and minorities receiving the COVID vaccine. Do you have privy to this data? And if so, what can the city do to go into neighborhoods, maybe schools, to provide the vaccine?
Well, I think there are two functions of that. One is, Dave, there aren't a lot of people over 65 in schools. So we're still in a process where we're looking at that. We're looking to drive it down. But, I mean, we're looking at every different way. Probably schools is not where they're going exactly at this point. The numbers are, we are seeing some of those out of whack, some of it, but I don't think it's distribution. If you look at it, Community Health of Northwest Florida got 800 doses, which is double Sacred, which is double Baptist Healthcare, and they're doing those over there in Brownsville area, and at their place over there at the old Ali Nestra School is where they have their operations. They are looking to serve underserved markets. I do think the challenge. I had a chance to go and speak with Pastor Isaac Williams of Greater Truvine Baptist Church. He was on my transition team. I certainly believe in what Pastor Williams has to say in what he's doing for the community. And I think he's put forward a thing that has been working to get out in the African American community that has talked about some distrust based on past issues with vaccines and getting people to understand the importance of what this is and the importance of also that this vaccine certainly is what it is doing in the African American community. So I think that is important. I think, when I look at distribution in areas that we're distributing in, I think we've got a pretty good cross section across Escambia County. I think some of it is also then what do we do to ensure all community members that there's an opportunity and it's safe to get the vaccine, and it's going to be necessary for all of our pockets of our community to do that. So I think that effort that is going on by Pastor Williams and some of the pastors in the area in that portion, it hopefully is getting more African Americans to think about volunteering and coming forward to get the vaccine. So I think that's as much of an issue. There certainly is some distribution part, but I really believe, I mean, when you look at the Department of Health, what they're doing, they have really changed some of their delivery, where the hospitals were getting more of the delivery before. They've certainly, if I look at this, they've been ramping up, and you go back and look, they've been ramping up community health. They've been ramping up the Florida Department of Health side as well. So again, those are there. I certainly realized there was kind of a technology issue that we had for a while, and we needed to get phones. I think they've corrected those portions. So, I think they're working to correct what they can to make sure it's accessible to all of our communities. And I think we need to be working with partners like that alliance of Black pastors that is really working to make sure that everybody understands the importance of getting the vaccine. And that even though vaccines have had some stigmas in some of our communities, we need to look past that and really work together on this one. So I do appreciate Pastor Williams and the message his team is getting across. I was happy to be there with them the other day. They also they felt like part of it is us being intentional and focused on where we send the doses, but it is also about making sure that in the African American community that there is a conversation that it's okay to go get your vaccine. In fact, it's needed, and you really need to do it. We've certainly seen what COVID has wreaked in some of the African American communities. So we need everybody to get the vaccine and participate in it. Dave, I think there's a possibility for us to go to schools when we get out of the over 65. We're just sort of opening up. There's no doubt that children, the challenge with children is they can take it back to caregivers, which could be parents, could be grandparents, and that's where we see some challenge. But at least at this point, the impacts in many ways are much less on our younger participants, and so we're continuing to focus on our older citizens and getting the vaccine. And unless that changes in Florida, I think for some time we'll be doing that. But it's not to say at some point we couldn't transition to schools and that those wouldn't be a valuable way to go through it.
Next question is from Jeremy at M Weekly. Can you speak a bit about the Charter Review Commission that the city will be conducting?
Yeah, we're still looking through there. We're going to have one this year, so it's required in the charter. We've been working with Susan Wolf to figure out how to put that together, and we will be doing something that will reevaluate the charter, much the same way that the state constitutional commission comes together once every 10 years and evaluates what they see is changes that should be happening in the state of Florida. So this will be a review of the charter by citizens. Some of those things will get initiated, but there's a number of different ways. So when we go to vote next time, there'll be many different opportunities to vote for different issues about the city and how it's run. So we think that will happen, but I don't have any particular answers at this point. We have talked with city attorney Susan Wolf, and she is still working through that with her team. This is sort of the first time we've had the opportunity to do it. We really sort of have a blank slate in front of us how to do it, but we will be doing it. I think over the next couple of months, you'll probably see it come together and organize better as it heads into the end of 21 and really 22, and then needing to get the information done in advance of the election in 22. So that's kind of where we are at this point. If I had more detail, I would provide it to you, but we're very early in that phase. We do expect to see something come out and some group take a look at it as we get through the fall into next year. But we are looking at it. We know it's going to happen, and we're simply working through it at this particular time.
This is also from Jeremy. Beyond its recommendations next month, what's the future of Cpac? During last week's town hall, members expressed a desire for it to continue indefinitely. What are your plans? Well, my plans are to look and see both what they're doing to emphasize that, how they look to build trust within communities, and really the recommendations they go, and then we'll move forward from there. So I think those are things we're evaluating. And we'll have a chance to see that once we get the report and know where we are, and see where we go from there. This is from Laura at Channel 3. How big a concern do you have about congestion and safety when the bridge reopens? It seems funneling 4 lanes into 2 at the Pensacola end could present challenges.
Laura, I don't disagree. I think those are things we've been concerned for a while. You've probably, over the last month, you've heard us talk a lot not about the bridge. We've told you, hey, they're telling us the bridge is going to be open. They're confident the bridge is going to be open. The problem is going to be the landing. We've been saying that for over a month. We've been working with them. We've been concerned about that. I think some of that decision of the way it's going to land is due to work that's still ongoing on the landing. So it's very much part of the issue. But we would have always had problems with the landing at some point. So we're going to work through those. Would I rather open with 4 in March? Yes, absolutely. Would I rather have something open than nothing and everybody going all the way around as we head into the beach season? Yes. So I think you just try to make the best of what you can, and I wish for a couple months it was different, but at least for 2.5 months we'll be dealing with it in a probably less than ideal way. But I also appreciate at some point you have to get something done, and the alternative to continue to keep driving around, especially as we're heading into beach season. And I think we saw that this weekend. It was cold, but we got a beautiful weekend, and our parks, the beach down on Scenic Highway was packed. And I think people are going to want to go to the beach, and I think we're going to see part of that. Like I said before, I wish there was some landing in Pensacola Beach, because I would very much like the ferry to be up and running. We've worked to make sure that our facility is capable of handling people and capable of getting them on the boat, and so they can go. So we will continue to do everything we can. But it's not ideal, but it is perhaps the best way to at least get something open, which is better than nothing. And so at this point, for our businesses that are in that corridor, I'm happy that they will begin to see commerce and connectivity coming through there. And I think from that standpoint, I don't want to delay that any further. So I appreciate at least getting something open. Would I rather have it all 4-laned? Absolutely. But we'll look forward to May and Memorial Day, and that will be a good thing when we get the bridge up and running on 4 lanes.
This is from Jim at P&J. What are your thoughts on Councilman Wiggins' gun buyback program and the prices being offered? And what will the city do to promote the event and have it be effective?
Well, again, I think, as I've said several times, that the details on there and the prices were very much set by people who felt like those were realistic to be able to find the guns that we were wanting to get off the street. My issue is more focused on what we're doing and what we're showing to that community. And I understand in Councilman Wiggins' district is where we've had a number of the shootings occur. He's had citizens that were killed by gun violence. And so there's a real desire to do some things. And again, it depends on what you consider success. My idea of success is if the community feels like we're concerned about them and trying to work to make everything better, even if it's in very small ways, that we get to turn some opportunities. That's a good thing. That builds trust. It goes back to what we talked about significantly at length. You have to feel, a community has to feel that you're engaged in their well-being. And again, I understand there are a lot of places and there are a lot of districts that may not have wanted to do a gun buyback at all. I totally understand that. But in this one district, that was a desire of the citizens to deal with something that they're confronted with. And at this point, I think they're willing to try and see what they can do to drive down gun violence in their area. And I'm willing to work with them, and I'm willing to build community trust that I think will go a long way toward making us a better city. So, I think that's what I'm going to judge success off of. The details of it are very much done by people who are engaged in that. The police, I know, have been working with that, setting it forward, and we'll do what we can to work. I do appreciate it's not just a gun buyback. I will say Councilman Wiggins has made sure that we have people there that will be, I believe, working with gun lock or gun safety, and also teaching some firearm safety as well. So I think that's important, how to store things, and I think that's a part of it as well, Casey, isn't it? That we have some giveaways on some things for trying to keep, if you have guns, keeping them locked up. Is that correct? I see Keith nodding his head. So yes. So it really is just trying to deal with gun safety, and it's in a neighborhood that's asking for this. And I think if it builds trust and the neighborhood says, hey, we're willing to do some things we might not have done everywhere else, but we're willing to do that because it's important to this community, then I think we build trust. And I think that's a huge success for the city of Pensacola.
And this is not really a question, but just a clarification from Dave at WWF. He said what I mean was using school properties, gyms, stadiums, etc., to hold mass vaccinations.
Yes. Jim, absolutely. I mean, I think you heard us here talk about it immediately. Quint Studer reached out to us. We talked about using the, we talked about using the Wahoo Stadium. So absolutely, if we had the supply, we would find a way to do it. And you should see the citizens we've had. I mean, UWF is one of the best logistic schools out there. People have sent us all kind of ideas to make sure we can get as many vaccines out as possible. Many of the things you suggested in there, Dave, there are absolutely ways for us to do that. The problem is not the ways. The problem is you can have all the great ways to get all the vaccine out there, but if you only have so many vaccines, it doesn't matter what you do. And again, our problem has been supply. Again, there was a hope that we would have some other vaccines that would be approved during the month of February, and I don't know where that is at this time. But again, if we get that done, we really need more than just the Moderna and the other vaccines that we have right now. We need the Johnson & Johnson one and all the other people that are working on one. We need those to be out there. If we could do that, then we'd have we'd sort of get to a point of scale in our production that we could do some of the things that you're talking about. So I think you will absolutely, if the volume of the supply goes up, Dave, I very much see exactly the things you mentioned happening. But right now, when we're getting such a limited supply, it's really not. It's not like extending to all these other things is going to be the way to get it out. So that's just kind of where we are at this particular time.
And this is from Laura at WEAR. Has there been any word from the airport if any airlines have grounded any 777s for an inspection here in Pensacola?
I do not know. I'd have to ask Matt. So yeah, I mean, at this point, I don't know. We would have to ask that question. Casey, we can get with Matt and get a question back to Laura, the answer back to Laura on that question. If we could do that, that would be good.
Yep, we can do that. And I don't see any new questions.
Well, thank you very much. And we certainly hope to see you tomorrow with Florida League of Cities President Tony Ortiz in town. We're excited to have him here, and I hope you will show up and have your preemption or other questions ready for him. I'm sure he'll be ready to discuss those tomorrow and what he sees as his vision for cities across the state of Florida. And we're just so excited that he's chosen to come to Pensacola, that he sees Pensacola as a city in Florida that's worth coming to, that's an important city in the state of Florida. And we believe we're as important as any other city, and we're glad to see people like President Ortiz recognizing that. So we hope we'll see you tomorrow. Thank you very much. And until then, we'll see you next week. Thank you.